Shalawam, shalawam, shalawam. All praises to the Most High Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Welcome to today's Bible study. We had meant to do it yesterday, but we were very, very tired. So here we are. Um, let's get right into it. It's been a very eventful week. We went through a little bit of the resting period of the birth pains, but as you can see, the birth pains are actually continuing to increase. And by that, I mean that things are gradually picking up and gradually getting worse and worse and worse. And there doesn't seem to be a sign of things getting any better for anybody. The middle class is perpetually being wiped out by this new administration, and nobody can tell. Like when we used to talk about how the rich want to wipe out the middle class and just have super rich people and super poor people, and people were like,
a conspiracy
it
theory.
was a conspiracy theory. All you're doing is talking a bunch of trash, and there's no hidden veil trying to make sure people is this and
Yeah,
people
that's the
is
word I
that.
used to use. It's not like this. These evil people.
Hidden society of evil people and stuff like that, and you are literally seeing it happen right before your very eyes, that now we're having a society that is doing its best to cut out the middle and just have two sets of people in life: the super rich that can afford everything, and the super poor who can barely afford anything and have to live off of the skin of their teeth. That's what we're experiencing right now. All right, and we can always get into another Bible study in terms of like hyperinflation and things like that being a part of biblical prophecy. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. Today we're gonna talk about America in isolation. America is currently being put in isolation by this current administration, and nobody seems to be talking about it. We've talked about it for weeks. We've warned about it for weeks that what seems to be taking place is that this president and his administration is making Americans isolated from anybody who would seek to basically combine and help them. Because whenever you do that, if you look at North Korea right now, North Korea's people and its country is completely isolated from outside help. So whatever it is that that president or that king or whatever him call himself, King Jong-un, wants to do to his people, there's nobody outside of that country that can help them. There's nobody that they can run to, because what him do? Close off all the borders.
No way in, no way out.
No way in, no way out. They control in and they control out. Now, here's what I'm saying, right? This is literally what's happening to America. And if you're not paying attention, it's going to catch you with your pants down. Because when the time to flee comes, you're not going to be able to flee because you're not expecting to flee. Some people are going to probably start fleeing. Some people have probably started fleeing already because you understand they've already seen what's happening right now.
The ones that can afford it.
And they can afford it. They take a trip to probably Jamaica and buy up some land and start build up on the land. They take a trip to a third world country, go into the country region, into the wilderness region, and start building up and farming and stuff like that and living off the land and blah 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 blah. They go to any other country and do that because they realize what is actually happening. I want you people to understand that if America falls to the ground, because it's the world's reserve currency, the American dollar is still the widely most used currency around the world. It's known as the reserved currency, meaning that the entire world uses that currency right now.
Anywhere that you can go, if you go on vacation, you still can use the US dollar.
Right, you can't go everywhere and use a Jamaican dollar. You can't go anywhere and use a Bahamian dollar. You can't go anywhere and use Haitian dollars. You can't go anywhere and use a French franc. You can still go anywhere and probably use a British pound, right? But I doubt you can go anywhere and just use a Canadian or Australian dollar. But the US dollar is known as the world reserved currency, meaning that everywhere in the world is using that currency to do transaction. Okay? Right now, the US is isolating itself and its citizens from the rest of the world. I've had people in my comment section on TikTok talking about how, well, we were doing it by ourselves before, so we will be fine. You are an idiot. Like how stupid and how prideful and puffed up do you have to be about this nation to not understand the dangers of that? You really and truly think that the United States is some big golden city
Mm-hmm.
that basically grows its all of its food,
Mm-hmm.
makes all of its clothing, makes all
All
of
of
its
his
materials.
metal, yeah.
It's the dumbest thing for
And
somebody
everybody
to
and
think.
everybody needs us.
And that everybody needs the US. There's no country in this world that does not do export and import.
That's why we have something called tariffs.
Mhm. Exports and imports are an important business of a country. It also helps to
Mm-hmm.
feed a country's people and to get resources that are not naturally made in the country. All right, let me give you Jamaica for an instance. We produce bauxite, alumina, sugar canes, and produce, and we export those. The excess of those, we export those, right? We import things like metals and fuel because Jamaica does not have natural fuel back home. We're digging for it, and there are rumors here and there that we found pockets of it, deposits of it here and there, but we haven't really found anything. So we have to import fuel from Colombia, Venezuela, places like that, and pay for that fuel, those barrels of fuel. Yes, and there's no country on this earth at this point in time that is self-sufficient enough to provide everything for its people. It has to get some things from some places. And that's why you do exports with other countries. And when you do exports with other countries, you import what they have and you export what you have to them. And you make deals about, okay, five of this for one of that, or blah blah blah, or we're just gonna pay in currency for each of the exports and each of the imports. Do you understand what I'm saying? The reason why I'm saying this is because this whole prideful, puffed up, flexing muscle type of thing that I see even so-called educated black men having for this country, for this land that is about to fall through isolation. It's going to be an extremely rude awakening for a lot of people. So freaking puffed up. It just seems, it blows my mind how stupid anybody can be to think this way. I don't care what skin color you are right now. If you are literally looking at America as some kind of god that don't need nobody just because of its dollars, you're going to be one of those people on the streets eating out of trash cans when the time comes. And I can guarantee it, it's going to be the most educated, the so-called educated. By the way, education does not mean smart.
Mm-hmm.
You may be knowledgeable in whatever it is that you have studied, but it does not mean that you're smart enough to understand what's going on in the world around you. And that's what I realized. A lot of you are educated dummies, educated fools. You're not a smart person. You're only knowledgeable in the field that you've studied. And this is a problem that America and a lot of people around the world are facing because you feel like you have a little bit of education here and there, and somebody doesn't have education and stuff like that. Oh, they're below me, they're beneath me, so they can't talk to me or whatever it is. And next thing, two twos, you're eating out of a trash can and begging that person for money because I can guarantee that's the time that's coming, and soon enough too, isolating America from the rest of the world. Who, when the time comes, when you're seeking help from Mexico don't like Americans now. When you're seeking help from Canadians don't like Americans now. You're crossing the seas to the Jamaica, to the wherever, to the so-called shithole countries, to the Haiti, to this, to that, to wherever, and they're gonna turn you back and say, go back to your golden city. You don't want us here. We don't want you here. That is what I've been trying to warn you people about. This lack of sympathy and this lack of understanding. Looking beyond the stupid distractions that you're facing right now to understand the true situation of what is actually coming down the pipeline for you people. But yet still, this whole FBA madness. Oh, well, just get them up out of here. We're the people of the land. Get them up out of here. And this whole hatred for other people, even the innocent of those people. Some people, just because they didn't vote the way that you wanted them to vote. Because we're going to get into all of this madness and this whole heap of stupidity. And again, I can understand. You understand? I'm not saying that they've all treated black people right. They've done this, and nobody is skipping or jumping over that. Nobody is skipping or jumping over that. But you do not kick a man when he's down. Us as black people should have more sympathy. You know why? Because we know what it's like. We know what it's like as a people to go through that. I'm not saying that, you have to jump out and say, let me go help them. But why are you kicking them while they're down? What you have to give me a very good explanation as to why is it okay for you to kick them while they're down. And I can guarantee you have no explanation for why you're kicking them while they're down. You will have none. And before the throne of judgment, when this topic and issue comes up, with everything that you have hyped on the computer, everything that you've made in a video, everything that you have said about these types of situations, when it comes up before the throne of the Most High, and you're going to have to give an answer for that, you will be dumbfounded and scared shitless before the throne of the Most High because of the things that you said and how you behaved. Again, I'm not saying that go to your way to help nobody. Have sympathy. I'm going to get into a couple of these situations right now. I'm going to get into a couple of these situations right now because I think it's very, very serious with what's going on. I think it's very, very serious with what's going on in terms of everything. You understand? So let's get started. Let's get started with this. Right now, it seems I'm not sure is look at this. Listen to this.
Given that we are the host of the G7 summit, and given that Donald Trump has threatened our very sovereignty, threatened our economic security, we should not invite Donald Trump to the G7. It doesn't make any sense to do so. As a host, we should work with other countries to develop a strategy on how we can resist the very dangerous ideas that Donald Trump's putting forward. And that should be the focus of the summit. To ban Donald Trump from attending the G7 summit. Donald Trump should not be welcome here. Why would we invite someone who has threatened our very democracy, our very sovereignty? Why would we invite someone who has threatened our economic well-being? Why would we invite someone who threatens our allies and threatens the world's stability? Why would we allow a convicted criminal into our country? Why would we invite someone who has such disdain for multilateral organizations? Instead, what we should do is use the G7 summit as an opportunity to work with our allies on a plan to resist Donald Trump and his dangerous threats to
America is currently being isolated from all of its allies, and its allies are now turning into its enemies.
Look up Jeremiah 4:30.
Jeremiah, you want me to look up Jeremiah 4:30?
4:30.
All right.
When you were talking, they Most High gave me that verse.
Let me down. Jeremiah 4 verse 30. And when thou art spoiled, what wilt thou do? Though thou clothest thyself with crimson, though thou deckest thee with ornaments of gold, though thou rentest thy face with painting, makeup, in vain shalt thou make thyself fair. Thy lovers will despise thee. They will seek thy life.
We're on the break of World War III, and many people don't even realize it.
Mm-hmm.
World War WW3 is happening. It's in the making.
The thing about it is now World War II was actually going on before it was officially announced. So we're literally going through World War III, maybe the beginning of World War III before it's gonna be official to say.
Well, they can't
Listen,
hide it anymore.
when they can no longer hide it.
When certain areas go kabooey, I'm not going to say the word. When certain areas go kabooey, and it's national news, and everybody has a phone now, it's hard for them to hide everything because we have phones. We see something, we film it, and now we have something like TikTok. Even though they're trying to regulate it, can't hide it. So things
Absolutely.
are just gonna go kablooey all of a sudden, and they ain't gonna have to make the grand announcement that it is now WW3.
The US is at war with this and this and this country. Our allies are this and this and this country. However, what I'm seeing right now, based on information that I've been reading, is that Europe is not really even effing with the USA. They backed Ukraine after the whole. And
Okay, you seeing it? Okay.
we're going to get into this conversation. Like I said before, we're going to get into this conversation. You see, a lot of flexing of muscles, a lot of puff up hearts were happening yesterday, puffing up and going on like we're big and we're bad and all those things was going on in that meeting yesterday. But a lot of people saw through the facade of it.
It was almost as if
It was a stage show.
But the way he was talking to him,
It was like cue. It was like a. To me, I don't even believe that all three of them were basically like saying anything real. I believe that it was like a staged event where they were just like cueing. Okay, when I say this, then you act like this. When I say that, then you act like this. That's literally how I felt while I was watching it yesterday. That's why when I made the video on TikTok, I said just notice certain things that he said and notice how the reaction to certain things and whatever it is and blah 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 blah. But it all just seems staged and cue card conversations. You understand? Cue card conversations. But anyway, let's go back to what the G7 summit is. We're gonna read what the G7 summit is and why it's important that the US should actually be a part of that, because if the US dollar is the world reserve currency, then what's gonna happen to it at the G7 summit, right? Look at this. The G7 summit is an international forum held annually for the leaders of the G7 member states of France, the United States, the United Kingdom, Germany, Japan, Italy, and Canada. Those countries. And now Canada is holding the G7 summit, and they say basically we don't want America there. Or maybe America is gonna have to send a diplomat there instead, but they don't want Donald Trump there. And they may not want anybody from the Republican side because of the whole heap of like this whole bandwagoning thing.
Or any of his supporters.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. None of his supporters. They don't want none of his supporters there. Now, watch this, right? Let's continue to read. At the G7 summit, the leaders of the G7, which shares fundamental values such as freedom, democracy, and human rights, exchange candid views on important challenges the international community is facing at that time, mostly economic, such as the global economy, regional affairs, and various global issues, war, money, exports, imports, these things, and currency. These things are discussed at these summits. And issue a document as an outcome of such discussions. Excuse me. With the leadership of the leaders of the G7, which shares fundamental values, the G7 has effectively responded to important challenges that the international community faces. Now, with that being said, with the importance of the G7 summit where you have all these countries coming together to talk about all these issues, economic, global issues, exports, imports, stuff like that. Do you not understand if the US is banned from such a summit, what could take place? They could turn around and say, well, BRICS nation is now becoming more and more powerful. Maybe we should consider going into the BRICS nation and doing away with the US dollar, the USD currency. And again, I've explained that society is not just gonna collapse right away like that. It's not gonna collapse right away. The only destruction that takes a society within an hour is what the Most High is going to do. And the Most High says that within an hour everything is going to be shambles. 1 hour. 1 hour is what it's gonna take to turn everything to rubble for the Most High. As a matter of fact, it's not even gonna take an hour, but he's saying that he's going to do it within the space of an hour. Right? If the US dollar is no longer the reserve currency, Americans, you are in deep waters. And if you're not able to tread, I am sorry for you. You're going to drown. And I'm going to explain why. You see, if the USD is no longer reserve currency, then you have to figure out what is the reserve currency. The US dollar being removed from currency removes the power of the US dollar wherever else it's not being used, which means that now your dollar is going to be what's the word? Exponentially depreciated.
So that means that everything is going to get higher.
Everything is gonna get yes.
It's going to be like Jamaica.
Well, Jamaica may be in a better situation because I've been hearing news that Jamaica is actually on a upward trend. So even if you go to Jamaica with your US dollars, it's going to go back to a period in which the Jamaican dollar is going to be stronger than the US dollar. And as much as you people have called our country a shithole country, you must understand this, that black Jamaicans will literally kick you out of their countries. When we get to a point, black people in Jamaica in general, when they get to a point where they feel like they're also puffed up, they're gonna have the same attitudes a lot of white Americans and a lot of black Americans have in terms of like having this patriotism to their country, and they're literally gonna turn on you, and Jamaicans will literally seek you out themselves, bring you to the border, and kick you out them countries. You understand? Even if they might show you upon a boat, they will do it. And the reason why I'm talking about all of this is that a lot of Americans, you're not realizing what's actually taking place and what's actually happening, because it's not going to be for far too long before this actually happens. Yes, the US dollar will be useful inside the US, but you want it to be useful outside of the US. Remember, when you do Amazon, a lot of your products come from China. A lot of your products come from the Philippines. A lot of your products come from Taiwan. A lot of your products come from foreign countries that don't have your products. So the strength of your US dollar gives you the ability to purchase those products at a cheaper price and to have the deliveries done at a cheaper price. When we can no longer do that, when the US dollar no longer has that hegemony, as people say, it's going to mean diddly squat in your own hands, because like you said before, it will turn into a Jamaica where, we don't have that huge super high problem, but man, it's going to be like $300 for a piece of bread, and that's probably what it is now back home, right? So that's where hyperinflation is actually going to start, and it's not going. When hyperinflation actually starts, it's not going to be a gradual process at that point in time. It's just gonna fly right up right away. Everything is just like right away. Everything is just gonna cost like super expensive.
Just like with the egg situation.
Just like with the egg situation.
We usually buy a 60 pack of eggs at Walmart. because we have a big family.
Mm-hmm.
And like throughout the years, it was like 15, maybe $18 for
Mhm.
60 eggs. I had looked online because I couldn't find any eggs in bulk anywhere, right? I looked online yesterday and it was $29.99 for a 60 count of eggs. Yeah. And that's just in Philadelphia. So I can't imagine like cities like California, like
Mhm.
Los Angeles
Mhm.
and New York.
I remember in Pennsylvania provides its own food.
Mhm.
It has its own farms. Like most states have their own farms to make food a little bit cheaper, but some states they have to basically import it from other states or even import it from foreign countries. Well, I'm not sure if they do that, but produce is imported like from Mexico and probably from Canada too. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then, like I said before, when you do things like these types of things, like okay, I am not completely against deportation. If you have criminals in a country, if you have rules and laws and you believe that these people have broken these rules and laws, by all means, you must enact your laws and for what I'm against is the whole inhumanity of it all, the inhumane treatment. And then when people talk about the inhumane treatment of certain some of these deportations in terms of like innocent people, exactly, especially they shouldn't have brought these are the things that you people say, and I hope that before the throne of the most high that you're going to say these things as well when he asks you why were you okay, or why did you say these things. I hope you're gonna say because they broke the law, they shouldn't have been here, and if they don't like it they can just stay in their countries and stuff like that. That's arrogance, that's pride, and that's being puffed up. And that's what I'm saying. You see, the morality is turning to white people's morality. That's the main thing. You don't even realize it, but your morality is turning into white people's morality. That's how white people behave. That's not how we behave. We were always the better of the two. Now, listen, I'm not going to say turn the other cheek with certain things. But what I'm saying is that certain steps we don't need to take because it's just not necessary. It's not doing our people any good to take these steps to say certain things. And yes, when they say certain things online, I do believe that there should be a reply to that. But saying certain things to them when they're being kicked down and stuff like that, we shouldn't do it. Right? We're gonna get into another situation soon. As a matter of fact, let me talk about this right now. This little Texas girl, she takes her own life after bullies threatens her, right? Let's read it. Gainesville, Texas, an 11-year-old girl from Texas tragically took her own life after bullies threatened to call immigration and customs enforcement against agents on her family. Are you happy now? Are you people? This is the question I want to ask you guys. Are you happy now? I'm asking our people this as well. Are you happy now? Is this what you wanted to see? I'm sure there are a lot of white people that say, "Oh well, they shouldn't have been here illegally anyway," and whatever it is, blah 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 blah. They should be legal and stuff. I should have crossed the border legally and stuff like that. They are perfectly fine with immorality. We shouldn't be okay with it.
These are literally hate people. You have to remember that the core of them are
The
hate
core of
people.
them is evil. This is
Yes,
not our people.
they're barbaric. You
Mm-hmm.
have to remember that when you're looking at them. It doesn't matter how posh and how eloquently they talk. These are K people.
We have always been the better of the
Our
people.
ancestors will look at them and say, "Oh, that's an Amalekite. Don't turn your back on him. Keep your old and keep your young away from that Amalekite."
They had no partiality. They were not partial when it came to your young and your old. You're weak and you're weak and sick. Were there where they took them out. They did not. I mean, look at it now. They have no partiality to our young or old when they're taking their lives. Do you expect any better from their children? I've never expected any better from their children.
We have to act like our ancestors. That's an Amalekite. Stay away from him. I know she pretty, son. I know she pretty. That's an Amalekite.
Hmm. That prettiness is to draw you in and to destroy you.
Did you off top? Did you hear what happened with that young man with that Amalekite woman?
What happened? What did she do? I only heard that what she do?
She tried to cover it up. She killed him and covered it up.
And of course, she probably might get up because she's gonna say how he attacked her and stuff like that. Because that's all they do.
You need.
I mean, how many black men in general need to die by these women before we get it in our heads that we're not supposed to be with them? I'm glad the Most High even had taken me out of that mindset too, because I probably wouldn't have been alive today either.
Because what do you do when you're in that situation where you done married, got like 2 or 3 kids together, and then you're awakened to who you are.
Uh-huh.
Now pre us being in Babylon, you can just leave them. The law says you can just leave them,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't leave that Hebrew woman for any cause. But you can just up and leave them
Mm-hmm.
and the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Even I believe it's in Esdras. They had like I believe it was what, a 3 week time span in which they were divorcing all their heathen wives. It was just a row of couples getting divorced, leaving the children, and that was that because they were coming back to the Most High.
I want you guys to understand something. You see, if the Most High promised your seed certain things, He's promising it to a specific seed. So if you make a seed with a Amalekite woman or Edomite woman, that promise is not promised to that seed. You might think that just because it's your child, that's the promise to that seed. It's not. The Most High might honor that child and give that child a different promise. You understand? Like what He did with Ishmael. But if you look and see what He did with Abraham, he basically he basically was okay with what's her name, Sarah? Is Sarah?
No, it's Saraf.
So yeah, when she basically say, "Hey, chase out this woman and her son because I don't want him to take the promise that's supposed to be given to my son,"
She was rightfully to do,
and she was right. She was okay to do that, even though she was the one who told him to go sleep and have a baby with the woman,
her handmaid, her servant.
her servant. Remember, no, let me say it again. I want to say it again because I need us to understand how special us as a people are, and I'm going to go into it. When she told him to go into the womb because she did not believe that the promise to have a child was coming through her. She just believed that, oh, it's Abraham's seed, so it might be he maybe can sleep with anybody, and the promise goes to that child. Right? But no, the promise was for you to have the child. And both of them had a child. One was older, one was younger than the other. And the servant and our woman was mocking him and was getting ready to, because they knew that, the first child always gets the inheritance.
So she thought.
And so guess what happened? What she said? She got to her husband. She said, yo, chase out this woman.
Send her away.
Because I don't want her son to have the inheritance with my child. She wants all of the inheritance. Now, if she was wrong, the Most High would have punished her. But He did not. Because she was right. She was correct because the promise was never made to that servant woman. What was wrong of her to do was to instruct Abraham, go behind the Most High's back and instruct Abraham to sleep with that woman and have a child by that woman.
Hagar,
the servant Hagar. Thank you, baby. Right? And guess what? The Most High was okay with it, and the promise was still given to Isaac. So wherever the promise is supposed to go, it's going to go there regardless, because if you even try to step out of line, the Most High will probably put you back with a woman of your tribe, and you have a child with that woman, and guess what, that child will be blessed by the Most High, and the first child that you had with the Amalekite woman or the East Edomite woman will not be prosperous, or maybe prosperous in different ways, because the Most High will not abandon that child regardless, because it's still your seed. It's just not the promised seed. Now, it is beneath us to celebrate, because the Most High did not tell us to celebrate against, our own people. Even if you don't want to believe that they're our own people, I've worked with them. I've worked with them in the past, and I'm currently working with them on a house. Right? I work 2 jobs now. I work as an electrician, where we're rewiring homes and stuff like that. I'm an apprentice, and the way how these people work, believe me,
Their ethic,
their work ethic, I've always loved it. You want to have these people to work on your homes. You want to have these people to work your farms.
They get it done fast and
they get it done fast and yes.
fast and right.
Fast and right. They're not diddly daddling on the job and stuff like that.
They take honor in their work.
They take honor in their work. Or people take honor in their work, because let me tell you something. My boss is a Judite. Right. He's a Yahudam. He's a Judah. Right? I'm a Benjamite. Right? She's a Judite, but she become a Benjamite for marrying me. Shut up. Judah, if you don't understand from reading scripture, Judah is the leader that's supposed to be leading the other 3 tribes, the Levites, the Judites, and whomever else, because Judah is supposed to be, because it was them that the scriptures was that them that preserved the scriptures while we were in captivity in Babylon. That's why. So because Judah held so strong with its leadership onto the oracles, the scriptures, that's what they call it. They call it the oracles, the scriptures. They were given the mantle of leadership. So Judah, my boss, he's a great guy. I was telling my wife yesterday, he's very patient man. You understand? I messed up mostly 3 times on the job, and the man said, "No, man, that's not how it's done," and stuff like that. If it was my father, who's a ratted Benjamite, and I messed up even 1 time on the job, even for my first day, my father would tear me all the way down to my toes and drag me by the hand of him car. You understand? But this Judite was very, very gentle. I felt the warmness of the man, even though he had a scar. You can tell the man can throw hands.
It's rough.
You can tell the man is rough. Like if you cross him certain ways, he will definitely be the stuffing onto you. But the man was warm. So you don't take the man kindness for weakness, because he's just teaching. You cross him certain ways, him go knock you out. I can tell that. Men can tell that stuff with other men. You understand? We don't even have to look at the scar and anything. You can look at a man's posture, how him stand up, how him talk to you. If you meet you eye to eye, you don't even have to have firmness in the voice. You just have to have a certain speaking, couture about you, where a man will just say certain things to you, and you will understand what this man's mindset is. This virgin was very patient with me, and he didn't have to be. So he was just like, all right, I want you to do this. I want you to try this out. We're going to teach you this. We're going to teach you that. You understand? But the point is this, is that we are above immorality. We are above apathy. We don't need to kick anybody while they're down, because we know what it's like to be kicked when you're down. If you want to stay out of it, stay out of it. But this whole thing of basically kicking people while they're down, you're going to share in white people's faith.
Separates an Israelite, a Jew from a Gentile, essentially. These Gentiles, remember how Paul in the New Testament said, "You guys were once Gentiles, carried the work of dumb idols." That's just not idolatry. It's your mentality. From an Israelite standpoint, even though you're an Israelite, you're not acting like this. So you're you're a Gentile.
You're a Gentile.
You you're it's hard to say. It's the way you conduct yourself.
Mm.
Like I said this before, I think in the previous podcast. We look down the street, we see that sister that needs help. We want to help her because that's to us. That's another Israelite sister. A Gentile, she shouldn't put herself in that position.
Right. Like we have a neighbor across the street and stuff like that, and she has a daughter. No car, anything like that. And sometimes we see her, she has to take the bus to the supermarket that's down the road, the Save a Lot that's down the road, and stuff like that. If we're passing, we give her a jump down to the street. Why not? I mean, we're already going that way. It ain't like you're giving them money. You're saving them money. These little things are things we can start doing for our people. You go to all this. You see an old couple or a woman or even a man and they're coming out and them look like them struggling to find a freaking quarter to give you. Give them the freaking give them the freaking cart and say, yo, don't even worry about it. Just pay it forward. And you'd be surprised how many people have been paying it forward with that cart. When you act in a mindset of understanding the struggle and easing the pain of that struggle, you'd be surprised how at ease you feel when you remove a struggle from somebody.
And this is what the law is here for. Yes, the law is here to teach us what to do and what not to do, essentially, as far as abominations and stuff like that. The law always talks about how we should treat our.
Remember, Yahweh Shai said, the second commandment is the second greatest of all the commandments. It says, love thy neighbor as thyself. That's also a great fulfilling of the law. The first one is love the Most High with all your heart, all your body, and all your substance. And the second one is like unto it, love thy neighbor as thyself.
These two hang.
Hmm. The rest of the laws come after those two. Because when you love your neighbor, you're not going to sleep with his wife. You're not going to covet after her. You're not going to covet after his things. You're not going to be jealous of your neighbor when you love them. You're going to want your neighbor to do better.
You're gonna help them.
You're going to help them. A point of where we're going to really be tested is coming up. That's what we want to help you to understand right now. In all seriousness, a point of which we are going to really be tested is coming up. Because guess what now? They're going to be running to us now. We're seeing a lot more videos of white Hebrew Israelites. Some of them, some. Let me tell you, we can make a video of it tonight with the other thing,
Yeah.
We'll make another thing there tonight, but that one we're gonna go live.
It's horrible.
White Hebrew Israelites, they're basically making their own sect, right? But still not acknowledging who the true Hebrew people are. So, what place you think they have in the coming kingdom, except in the lake of fire? You're not having a sect by yourself. You do not understand what the scripture says. You come in barely by. If we go in barely by the skin of our teeth, what do you think you're getting in on? Huh? If we're barely making it by the skin of our teeth, what do you think you are coming in on? This whole white supremacy thing have so-called even humble white people thinking their works are it's getting them through. And then they come to you and say, it's not by works, it's by faith. And
halfway preach the gospel.
halfway preach the gospel. While at the same time hating on tisk tisk tisk. Still have a lot of learning to do, Whitey. Still have a lot of learning to do, man.
I don't understand how you can preach the gospel. It says you're supposed Christ said you're supposed to believe on me as the scriptures have said.
I want to go to Jeremiah 29. No, before I even go anywhere else, I want to talk about this last thing now. Not last thing, but this next topic. Now, I want you people to understand. I've said this before yesterday. I went and I spoke about this on my TikTok and stuff like that. But I want to talk about this again. We're going back into America is being isolated, right? From its allies. Watch this.
Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's
I
respectful
will answer.
to come to the Oval Office
I
of
will
the United
answer.
States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God
He said what he said.
Did
said
did you
he said.
peep what I said this yesterday, you know?
He said.
And let me say it again. Did you peep that one little nugget of warning of what he said? You have this vast ocean from your enemies. So you don't have to worry about nothing. That's why you have all this comfort, all this, you relax, stuff like that. But you will feel something in the future. He didn't say near future, which he should have said. Why am I saying this? Because Canada not messing with America too tight. Mexico, and again, you have black men, uninformed black men that really and truly cannot look outside of this damn box to see what's happening. Oh yeah, Trump is the man. Daddy Trump. Yeah, Trump is standing on business, 10 toes down. Yeah, he's showing everybody. He's flexing the muscle of America. America, outside of America, is not respected by the other nations. And right now, to me, this is Trump basically trying to puff up himself on media to show other countries that, yeah, we're standing on business. But everybody can see through this and see that this is a staged
I
event.
don't think he expected the rest of the European countries to stick with him.
Right, and then the European countries turned around and decided that, okay, the US is not gonna help, then we're gonna help. That's what I said. You see, the thing about it is that how are they now giving this money to them now? They're probably gonna start using their own currency. Or if they join BRICS, they're gonna be using the BRICS currency. And then what happens to the US currency? It loses its position as the world's reserve currency and is replaced by BRICS. And then everybody is now going to start running to these other nations where BRICS is top. So you're going to probably run to China, Africa, Canada. Those were no, not Canada, sorry, Russia. Because those are going to be the countries now that started the BRICS currency, and those are going to be the countries with the strongest BRICS currency. Now you know damn well that you can't run to Africa certain ways now with them having the power. Jamaica was even getting a warning from Trump not to join BRICS. If a third world shithole country like Jamaica wants to join BRICS, what is that telling you? By the way, just to let you know, Jamaicans love America. You hear? Love America. They love the money. They love the aesthetic of America. They love everything about America. But when you see a country like Jamaica, a third world so-called shithole country, basically looking to join BRICS for the benefits of the BRICS currency, what is that spelling for America? Because remember now, America does do trade, and the USD trade with Jamaican with third world countries. You understand what I'm saying? So the thing about it is that this meeting, they basically berated the man, disrespected the man. The man stood up for himself and stuff like. And they constantly said that he was disrespectful, he was this, he was that, and blah blah blah, telling the man why him don't come in formal wear to the White House. He's wearing like plain clothes to the White House, etc. Like all sorts of things saying to the man. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, social media was like the news reporters were asking him why didn't you come in formal wear and stuff like that. I'm like, yo, if my country is at war, you think I have time to put on like comfortable wear?
He already knew what it was.
I want to say one thing. It was said years ago online as a meme, and I want to say it again. There was a point in time in history where kings that ruled their countries were on the battlefield themselves.
Yep.
They were not sitting down cushly in their beds. They were on the front lines like everybody else, fighting those battles, fighting those wars. So kings would know back then they couldn't just flippantly say certain things and go to war unless they knew that they would actually win and come out alive. You can go back to Ahab. Ahab went to war, he was told a lie, he did not come back alive. The point I'm trying to make is that we have a lot of men who basically send young men to die in their place, and then when these young men come back injured, they can't get any of the benefits that they fought for. And I think that's an even more wicked tragedy than anything else.
If my leg is, you should be able to take care of me for the rest of my life.
For the rest of my life.
I shouldn't have to want for nothing.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I have an uncle, uncle, he's from the Marines. And the Marines, they go through the most harsh training, and the Marines will tell you. One time I said to my uncle, when we were in Jamaica and he came to visit Uncle Richie, Uncle Richie, what's up, soldier? The man look at me and said, I'm a Marine. Yo, these people will distinguish themselves. They will distinguish themselves and let you know that they are no soldier, they're a Marine. You look it up. The Marines, they're basically like, I don't know, they're the icebreakers for conflict. They start with, they're like the I don't know how to say it, but they're the ones that you call to get things started and get things heated very, very quickly and get a lot of damage done same time too as well. Then the soldiers are basically for the numbers to basically wipe out. So it would be like to say David was a Marine and then everybody else behind him were soldiers. But the point I want to make is that we have a lot of people making decisions about war and stuff like that, and their lives are never on the line. Their lives are never on the line. And I think it's the most unfair point in history that we've come to, in which we have men that are in the seat of rulership, and they're basically not putting their lives on the line to basically say that they are deserving of that position.
And this is something that never should have been seen before. And of course, we know the kings and prime ministers talk to each other, threaten each other, and stuff like that. It is what it is. But for us to see it as the people, America is a laughing stock right now.
Mm-hmm.
America is a laughing. And who was the Catwoman said? Cat Williams said America is. He was making a joke about how America is some bullies. We really are. We are bullies.
Mm-hmm.
We really are.
So right now, America is haughty and puffed up and stuff like that. I want to bring you back to. I'm gonna humble you now with Proverbs. Proverbs 16 verse 18. Pride goeth before destruction,
Mhm.
and an haughty heart, haughty spirit before a fall. America does not know what's coming next. You can continue to be prideful, you can continue to be haughty, you can continue to be puffed up, but that end is coming. And pride goeth before that destruction, and a haughty spirit before you fall. That make no mistake. This is how Americans are behaving, and this is definitely what's coming down the line. Amy? All right, so we're gonna move on now to Jeremiah Yeah, it's kind of rough in my house right now, but Jeremiah 29. We're gonna go through. Sorry, we're gonna go through verse 11 to 12. Jeremiah 29, 11 to 12. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Adonai. Thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Then shall ye call upon me, and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you. So basically, the Most High, this is like, when Jeremiah was talking about the captivity, what's going to happen, where we're going to be going in Babylon. The Most High even said that when you go into captivity, continue to breed. We can read it. You understand? The Most High told you to continue to breed, right? To continue to marry, continue to have children, continue to make your wine, continue to do this, because eventually I'm going to take you out of it. You understand? And this is what the Most High is preparing to gather us together. But times are going to get even tougher first. Some of us are not going to make it, and we're just going to have to come up at the second resurrection. Some of us are going to make it, but by the skin of our teeth, we're going to be making it. And if we're barely making it by the skin of our teeth, you so-called white Hebrew Israelites, what do you think you're going to be making it by? Huh? Some of you are really and truly still thinking with this white supremacist mindset that you're gonna just come in and you're gonna hold some sort of, electoral position. You're gonna be high up there with our bishops and stuff like that, our leaders and stuff like that. No, you're not. I'm not gonna get up and say what some of these people are going to do, but I know what I'm not going to be doing. In certain ways, I'm not hanging with you people. You understand? You're dealing with certain things on your own, man. I think, like I said before, enough is enough with a lot of you people. Sometimes it's just got to be done with, man. Then we're gonna move on to Jeremiah 30. Now, I want to read this chapter all the way through because I need you people to understand what's actually coming. What's actually coming next. You understand? Because I want you people to have joy and peace and understanding about the gathering and what's going to be happening during the gathering too. You understand? A lot of joy, a lot of peacefulness in this gathering right now. The word of Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, Thus speaketh the Adonai Yahweh of Yasharallah, saying, Write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in a book, for lo, the days come, saith the Adonai, that I will bring again the captivity of my people, Yasharallah and Yahada, saith the Adonai, and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave their fathers, and they shall possess it. Did you hear what the Mosai said? He will do it. He will gather us. Not no other nations gonna put us in no damn land and buy land and say, oh, you can live there. And if they are the people of the land, where is the other tribes?
Exactly.
I've been asking this question for mountains of days. If those are the people in the land, if those Canaanite people in the land right now, if those Khazar people in the land right now, if those Japhite people in the land right now are the people of the Most High, where are the other tribes? The next thing that you have to understand is that Judah, Levi, and Benjamin look different. You notice that my wife is lighter than I am. As a matter of fact, the only reason why my skin is light is because I live in America. If you've ever looked at some of my photos on Facebook, you'll see how dark I actually look. I'm a copper color person, like really dark copper. You understand? And you can distinguish the look and the shades of difference between the tribes. Where's the shade of difference with those people? in a land that is mainly sun baking, and they have to dodge the sun. They have the highest rate of skin cancer in the world.
Yeah.
How can you live in a land that your body, right, can't even take? That don't make no sense. But we're the liars, right? We're the liars. We're literally the children of the sun, both figuratively and literally. I sit down in the sun every time the summer comes and my skin gets darker. I don't get no skin cancer, I don't get no sunburn. It's very rare for me to even feel the burning of the sun unless it's like just here on my neck back.
And even as
And
like
even
people in general, especially women, you go to the doctor once a year for your physical to take a vitamin D test, and most likely your vitamin D is low because we're supposed to be in the sun. And if you live in the on the East Coast, well, it only gets
mm-hmm.
what 3 months of good sun, and that's it.
It's not good.
So
That's
our
not
vitamin
good.
D levels are extremely, 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 extremely
And just
low.
so you know, your vitamin D from the sun helps you to build your immunity.
Mm.
That's why a lot of us Jamaicans have such great immunity here because we lived our entire lives in the sun. And I've said it to my wife many, many times. One of the main reasons why my hair is falling out is because I don't have the sun as most as I would. To just be out in the sun, walk about in the sun, to be energized by the sun, to receive my nutrients from the
And
sun.
not only that, your hair turns grayer quicker because you don't have your vitamin D deficient. So
Hmm. And these are the words that the Lord, the Adonai, speak concerning Yasharallah and concerning Yahada. It's still speaking about the two tribes. You see, when we hear about just the word Jews from Christians and people like that, we've never understood the 12 tribes and how there's actually two kingdoms. We've never understood that there's 12 tribes and actually two kingdoms. And that's because you've never read the Old Testament to understand what has actually taken place. You've actually always thought, I used to think that Jews were actually just the people of the Most High. They were the only people of the Most High that the book was about. And then when you read the scriptures from the Old Testament and the New Testament, you understand what happened, that the kingdom was actually split in two. You have one kingdom called the kingdom of Judah, which had three tribes in it: Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. And then you had the rest, the Israelite kingdom, which had the rest of the tribes, the other nine tribes. You understand? Ask ye now and see whether, oh, sorry, for thus saith the Adonai, we have heard our voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. I was laughing at that one verse.
I got the picture in my head. Because I got the picture in my head. Y'all clenching. Holding y'all's nut sack. It's sorry, guys. Can you imagine turning pale? Yeah.
Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's Amy. Excuse us, please, baby. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. For it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Adonai of Savaat, which means Lord of hosts, that I will break his yoke from thy neck and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. Meaning that we will not be serving nobody. Nobody. We won't work in any service industry, period. But they shall serve their Adonai, their Alahaim, and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. Therefore, fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Adonai, neither be dismayed, O Yasharallah, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. Which land of captivity were those people in? And for how long have they been in that land of captivity? What? World War II? 3 years?
Said 3 4 years.
3 to 4 years compared to the 300 to 400 years? Nobody's dismissing what happened to them because that's what all you people try to do. You try to move the goalposts and talk about how we're dismissing. No, that's not the point of the conversation right now. It's oranges and apples right now. Okay? One is bigger than the other. Therefore, fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord. Oh, I already read that. I did.
Okay.
No. Yeah, captivity. And Jacob shall return and shall be in rest and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. Those people are fighting wars. Every day them a fight war. Which part of them is at rest? Which part of them is quiet? And which part of them is not afraid? They are always afraid because that's what they always say. That we are in fear for our lives, so we have to protect ourselves. So if their seed is moved out of the land of the captivity and put back into Israel, then why is that means that this prophecy is false? That means that this prophecy is false then. And they should just throw away the Torah. And then you're gonna have to question them if they are the people then.
And even if it's even on verse 10, I will save thee from afar. Yup, the majority of them are still over there.
Mm-hmm. The majority of them, Europe is not far because you can travel from one plane of Europe and go right into Israel too. We are way across the waters. You understand? We're way across the waters. For I am with thee, saith the Adonai, to save thee, though I make a full end of all nations, whither I have scattered thee. Where were they scattered?
Is that
Where were they scattered? Them ungo scatter because the country will scatter because of World War, but we were literally scattered from like people took us and scattered us by different nations, took us into different places and enslaved our people there in those different places. America, Australia, Jamaica, the Caribbean, Haiti, Trinidad, Tobago, Bahamas. We were scattered. Then people there only come from Europe.
and
We are scattered all over the world.
Issachar and Ephraim and stuff. We always talk about our scattering, but we never associate scattering with their scattering because we're all one people. We never talk about that. When we say, "Oh, we were scattered," through the Caribbean and stuff. But you gotta remember, we were scattered through Mexico and through Spain and stuff. So I think as a people, we need to start saying that as well. Because a lot of them, they don't realize that they are us.
One of the guys said, I remember what he said is that, and it's true, I believe it, is that they also have to wake up to as well because they've been used to this whole thing of white adjacency, being close to white people, being called close to white people and stuff like that. When in their own countries, they have Aboriginal Latino people. And they do the same thing that that's always been done to Aboriginal people. Dump on them. going like they're nowhere near related to them, you know. But anyway, moving on. Yet I will not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure and will not leave thee altogether unpunished. We are being punished. We're still in
And
punishment.
you know what's
We're actually coming out of punishment, but we're still in punishment. It's just like, when we send Amy to her room, I'll give her a chance to speak. It's just like when we send Amy to her room and we give her a timer for like 5 minutes. She's coming out of her punishment and stuff like that, but she's still in punishment if it's still 1 minute left. Go ahead.
What I was going to say is our time of punishment is a guard Ephraim's time of punishment right now because they had to be awakened. We already know what it is. We already been chasing. We're still being chastened, but not to the point that they're being chastened right now. They're gonna have to be brought low to the point where they're gonna have to seek the Most High. They're gonna have no choice but to seek Him, and in truth, not go to the
They're gonna cry. They're gonna have to get to the point of being on knees and cry out, like literal cry out to the Most High to save them, because that's what the scripture says too. Is that you're gonna have to be brought low to your belly to be crying out, bawling for help, as we have done many, many times. In your showers, you cry for help, you bawl and things like that, because you don't have no food, rent due, this that is happening.
because at least with them they have a sense of community where Judah does not have a sense of community. Even
Benjamin don't
got
have a sense of community either. Yeah.
so like they have a sense of community. Whenever they work, they all work together. No matter what industry or service, they all got each other's back. But us, we were chased because we are our tribe is the leaders. We had to be awakened up first, so we had to chase.
So Benjamin, Levi, and Judah, the Haitians who are Levi. And I agree with that. I do believe the Haitians are Levi. And the reason being is that the Haitians are the people who are mostly into witchcraft more than any other tribe that I've noticed. Voodoo and them things there. Jamaicans do it too, but they not do it to the extent that I've seen Haitians do it. You understand? So that's why I would believe that Haitians are actually the tribe of Levi. You understand? I may not understand and them things are because I've seen people like do the mapping and stuff like that. I may not understand it. But to a certain extent, you can look and understand why they would say that they are the tribe of Levi. Because remember, Levi was actually the spiritual leaders. They were the priests, the Levitical priests. You understand? Benjamin was a ravenous wolf. Him just love fight. Him love do this. Jamaicans are known for that. Just like Jamaicans. Well, we can get into that another time. But let's continue with scripture anyway.
They literally had to be the purists because they were the ones that were in the temple. They were the priests. So now they're the dirtiest in a way. You know what I mean? With the spiritually, I'm talking about like the voodoo and stuff like that. So it's like a total 360, and that's why their country is still going through a lot of stuff.
Yes, because they're still being punished. They're not they're awakening, but they're still not letting go of those witchcraft practices. You understand? They're still basically slapping the Mosai in the face, so the Mosai is going to continue to down on them, down on them, down on them until they turn around and go back to the Mosai. So people are going to still continue to rob, kill, and steal from Haiti until Haiti wakes up and returns to the Most High. You understand? Repents and goes back to the Most High. For thus it saith the Adonai, thy bruise is incurable, and thy wound is grievous. There is none to plead thy cause, that thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicines. All thy lovers have forgotten thee. They seek thee not, for I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy. See what? Do you see what it said? The Most High has done this to us. He's letting us know that he's the one that did this to us. Nobody else. He's letting you know that he's the one in control of the good and the bad that's happening to you. All right? With the chastisement of a cruel one for the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased. Why criest thou for thine affliction? Thy sorrow is incurable for the multitude of thine iniquity. Because thy sins were increased, I have done these things. He's telling you why he's done it unto you. We sinned against the Most High. We get stiff-necked. We don't want to hear. We want to do what we want to do. And so the Most High said, okay, this is all you want to be. I am going to punish you. Just like how when your child does not listen to a certain extent and you keep talking to them, eventually you're going to stop talking to them and get a rod out. And then when you're done rotting them out, you send them to their rooms. And they have to go sit their butts down for a while. Sometimes they got to skip a meal too. And then when you're done punishing them, you grab them and you talk to them and you hug them and you say, you know, I don't take joy in doing this, but you need to learn to listen. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be spoiled, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. So I'm going to break this verse down in particular. Therefore, all that devour thee shall be devoured. So basically, everybody who's done something wrong is going to be happening to them by the hands of the Most High. Not even us. He will send others to destroy them. That's number one, right? And all thy adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. That don't mean that we're gonna be holding anybody in captivity. That means that other nations are going to be putting these people into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be spoiled. So everything that was stolen from us will be stolen back from them, and even worse. And all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. All the exploitation that they've done to black people by paying them little to nothing compared to the work that they've done. How you have to be more qualified than the position, and even somebody who is less qualified than you but have the right skin color get the job over you. And then you get the job, but they get more than you, even though they're not as educated. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? You people know. For I will restore health unto thee. We're going to become a strong nation again. And I will heal thee of thy wounds. Will be healed. In terms of mentality, will be healed. We'll be able to think more clearly.
Stockholm.
Not more Stockholm syndrome. We're going to be, and that's what's happening right now. We're being healed mentally. We're moving away from this whole Stockholm syndrome thing and say, yo, wait a minute. We don't want to hear anymore of he should have listened, he should have complied anymore. It's just straight up wrong. We don't want to hear that anymore. That's what's happening. We're waking up. No, we want to go over here now. We want to be left alone. We want to live by ourselves. We want to worship the Most High. That's what's happening right now. We are mentally, even those who have not awoken to the truth as yet, they're basically waking up mentally and saying, listen, man, I don't want to have anything to do with you people right now. I want to go over here. Because they called thee an outcast. Don't they see us as outcasts? Even if you do nothing, you walk into a store, people just kind of basically look at you as if you're doing something wrong when you just come in to get probably just a drink of water. You've done nothing. The minute a black person steps into a store, it don't matter how many ethnicities are in there, the minute a dark-skinned person step into there, everybody's heads turn and just start wondering to themselves what kind of trouble is coming in the store. That's an outcast. That is an outcast. Saying, this is Zion whom no man seeketh after. They're basically saying, see, black women are the bottom of the dating pool. Black men are the bottom of the dating pool. Nobody wants to deal with black men. Everybody say, oh, take them out because they're savages. Take out black babies, black boys. Black boys can't listen. Black girls can't listen. Take them out. Black mama, baby mama drama, all that type of stuff. You understand? Thus saith the Adonai, behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tents, and have mercy on his dwelling places. And the city shall be builded up upon her own heap, and the place shall remain after the manner thereof. So when we return into the land and we build again, then it will never be destroyed. And out of them shall proceed thanksgiving and the voice of them that make merry, and I will multiply them, and they shall not be few. I will also glorify them, and they shall not be small. Their children also shall be as aforetime, meaning like back in the day. You understand, where we were joyous and children were running around and happy. And their congregation shall be established before me, and I will punish all those who oppress them. People keep thinking that oppression is just like somebody physically doing you something. Systematic oppression exists. Rules, laws, and policies that prevent black people from, succeeding in life. That's oppression as well. I will punish all that oppress them. We've been warning, and we're going to continue to warn. We're not warning for you to change your ways. We know you're not going to change your ways. We're just warning you to let you know that the time is coming, that you don't have much longer to oppress us. That it eventually it's gonna come to an end. There's no golden age gonna happen for you people. You literally see the writings. Like, even I saw a white boy say yesterday. White man come on TikTok, and he said the writing is literally on the wall right now, that America is being isolated. A white man said what we've been saying for a long time, but we know that you would more listen to him than you would listen to us. Because we're the outcasts, and we're stupid, and we don't have any sense because we were the slaves, right? We're just dumb people who you enslaved and stuff. And you are the ones who educated us and everything, right? You wait until we get into the studies of tonight, you hear? You're gonna love that. That one is gonna be live, and we hope that you come into that one. And their nobles shall be of themselves, and their governor shall proceed from the midst of them. And I will cause him to draw near, and he shall approach unto me. For who is this that engaged his heart to approach unto me, saith the Adonai? And ye shall be, oops, I don't know, this mouse sometimes. And ye shall be my people, and I will be your Elohim. Behold, the whirlwind of the Adonai goeth forth with fury, a continuing whirlwind. It shall fall with pain upon the head of the wicked. The fierce anger of the Adonai shall not return until he hath done it, and until he hath performed the intents of his heart. In the later days, in the future, ye shall consider it. I want you people to understand that the Most High is giving his people these scriptures to remind them now, while he's awakening them. He's reminding them of the promises to destroy all those who have done evil to his people. Just like Egypt didn't want to pay their reparations, that's okay. The Most High is going to punish you guys. Scripture says that the Most High stores up the riches of the wicked for the good. Just so you know. And there's another topic I want to get into. You see, when we get gathered together, I've said this many times, I'll say it again. Ezekiel 2038 in terms of the gathering. You see, there's a lot of things we have to talk about because even though there's a lot of you men and women that are waking up, a lot of you are still taking the foolishness with you in unrighteousness. You're still taking the whole thug culture with you. You're still taking this whole ratchet behavior with you. You're still taking this whole feminist mindset with you. You don't understand what's going to happen when the time comes. It's going to go back to the afore times, the strictness of the afore times, where when you step out of line, that's it. There's no talking back and forth with you. There's no debate. You're just gonna be taken out, and the Most High is gonna be doing it Himself again, right? Because remember, when we were in the wilderness the first time, the Most High purged out people that were not obedient. As a matter of fact, too, before He did it though, He would give them a chance. The Most High would say things like, "Do not take any spoils out of the city that you destroy." You had people that would take up gold ornaments, this, that, this, that, this, that. The Most High would say, "Somebody defile the camp, find them and kill them and them family." Nope. This time the Most High says, "I will purge them out from amongst you. You won't even have to look for them. You will just wake up one morning and see them dead, and the Most High, and you will know that the Most High did it because they were a rebel." So this whole thing of trying to usurp the authority of men, spoken to you about many, many times. Men have been talking to women about this. Know what your place is. Stop trying to lead men. It was never given to you to have the authority over a man. It's spoken many, many times. I believe scripture, but I don't believe in submission to no man. Okay. I was only listen to Jesus. I don't think you would listen to Jesus because feminists existed back then. And the man had to cut them down. How did a feminist exist back then? Let me show you something. I'm going to show you how a feminist existed. Because you people think that we're experiencing something new. One of the first feminists was Jezebel, right? But I'm going to show you the one that Yahweh Shai cut down in the middle of a crowd. This is going to be Luke 11 verse 27. We're going to go to KJV. And it came to pass, as he spake these things, a certain woman of the company lifted up her voice and said unto him, Blessed is the womb that bare thee and the paps which thou hast sucked. You know what? Let me go to 27 to 28 because I want to get the response from him as well. And it came to pass as he spake these things, a certain woman of the company lifted up her voice and said unto him, Blessed is the womb that bare thee and the paps which thou hast sucked. What is she saying? Yeah, man, the woman who bears such a great man should be worshipped. And what did he say? But he said, Yea, rather blessed are they that hear the word of the Alahayim and keep it. So he put her in her place, told her to shut up with this whole woman nonsense.
To the Mother God, Son of God, and Father God thing was still going around. It was just Diana and Zeus, and
It's still going around to this day where there's this whole thing of the black woman is the goddess and black woman gives life and blah blah blah. All this madness of worshiping of women.
it was Tammuz and Semiramis back then. Because remember, they were in essentially around the Greeks,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what they believed. So,
Mm-hmm. Right? So all you people who think you're coming into the camp to take over and to still not listen to men and to still not behave yourself, you are going to be personally be purged out. You're personally going to lose your life. You're going to personally lose your life in the wilderness. Just like how you had people moving around for 40 years. What should have taken them 40 days took them 40 years. And then they were not able to enter into the land. Their children had to enter the land. Again, and this is what he's saying, and I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Yasharala. And ye shall know that I am the Adonai.
Essentially, all of us are going to be taken out, whether we believe or not.
Right, whether we believe or not, he's taking us out of the land.
Remember, he's coming to separate the nations. The nation of Israel is one nation. Whether we believe or not, you're still an Israelite. Whether you call yourself black, you're Israelite. So he's taking us all out. All of us out. Out. We're all going out. Ain't gonna be no more black people.
But just like how it was in the wilderness where, stonings and them things there and the purging out and him doing earthquake and people fall in, that's what's going to be happening again. Because he's going to purge you out. Because he's literally telling you, I am not standing for this foolishness. I'm not going to allow you to have my people feel anymore. A lot of you do not understand the mindset that we're supposed to be having right now. A lot of you think that you can still, like, I've even heard some Hebrew brothers talking about how they want concubines out of the Edomites. I've already said it before and I'll say it again. I don't want them anywhere near my, neither for maid servant nor man servant. I don't want them nowhere near my family right now.
The Bible verse said we're going to be selling them.
So yeah, I remember. I think I showed it where we're selling them to other people too.
That's
some
crazy.
people, yeah. So you see how I feel. So if you give me, I'm probably just gonna sell them to somebody else because I don't want them. I don't want them. I don't want the infectious nature around me and my children. I don't want the attitude around me and around my children. I don't know. Like I'm at the point where I don't trust being out with them.
Mm-hmm.
I can work with them professionally, deal with them, coach their kids. Beyond that, I don't want anymore. Beyond that, I don't want anymore. I don't want no play dates. I don't want no hanging out. I don't want them in my house. I don't want it. I don't want it. I understand. Listen, I understand that they're gonna cleave and they're gonna be, some of them are gonna be saved and stuff like that. You understand? But this is me. It's just like I can't deal with it anymore. You understand? And with some of you people too, I can't deal with some of you anymore either. Some of you love this whole heap of wickedness too damn much too. And I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not. And so him already know those of you who will not enter into the land. But you will be able to see it though.
Just like Moses.
Just like Moses.
Sat there and watched it.
Even though Moses was a great leader, he was disqualified from entering into the land. So many of us can get that disqualification as well if we don't change our mindset. Some of us still coming, like I said before, some of you women, some of you men, still coming on with the foolishness. Some of you women still coming on with this feminist foolishness, this thug culture foolishness, this ratchet foolishness. You may be removed from this land by the goodness of the Most High, but when you start to act up while we're in the wilderness, when you don't want to take talking, when you don't want to listen, you're gonna lose your life. And we don't know if you're gonna be able to even come back in the second resurrection. That might be it for you. You might come back in the second resurrection and wake up to eternal damnation. Your mindset needs to change. So, before we close out, just to give you a reminder, America is currently in isolation and we should be getting ourselves ready, prepping, having your waters, having your canned goods
Can buy it because
while you
things
can buy
are
it,
getting
because
extremely high.
things are getting extremely high. You're gonna have to probably start, trying your best to. Probably you should try, but probably start raising your own chickens. We're thinking about it,
Even if you can get them, because they
even if you can get them.
the prices, like we were saying on the other podcast, I think like 2 or 3 podcasts ago,
Is that $50 or
for
something?
like 10. It's
Mhm.
probably higher now because of the quote unquote birth bill.
Mhm. So we don't know. Time is upon us. But anyway, people, pay attention to what's going on. Make sure you're diving deep into the word. Spend time with the Most High. Spend time with your family. We know that you still have to go to work and stuff like that to keep a roof over your head, and you should. The Most High is not going to stop you from that, but the Most High wants you to be alert about what's going on. He doesn't want you to focus on your daily life as much as he wants you to focus on what's going on. But he knows that you have to work. He knows that you have to keep a food, a shelter over your head. Believe me, I know. Remember, I was jobless for a while. I had the problems of sometimes worrying on if I'd be able to keep this roof over our heads or if we'd be kicked out or stuff like that. And I look at it same way and I said, boy, Musa, I don't want to go too far because I know that you know the end is coming and I want to be able to get back home. I want to be in a position to be close to my house. Anyway, people, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you come to tonight's study. All right, it's gonna be a live. We're gonna make it live, and you're gonna like the topics of what we're gonna be talking about. So, Hebrew Jamaican Cooley and his wife Ashley. Enough from enough love and respect. Peace. We are out.